Let's take this time now to think back to our youth. One of the fondest memories is probably story time. We would gather around our teachers or parents and listen to them. Listen to them tell tales of princes and princesses, dragons and dinosaurs, renamed Anne, or perhaps about when they were our age. As we grew older, we learned how to read and were exposed to more and more stories. It was then that we began questioning some of them. We would ask why certain characters would do such things and what lesson the author was trying to tell us. Obviously, we would disagree with some of these messages, but in the end, we would at least understand and ultimately learn from them. These timeless lessons that we learned from such timeless tales, we would hold dear to our hearts and let them compose a part of our morals and values. We continue to do this even now. We read new novels, hear new stories, continue to ask and learn why, and incorporate concepts into our being that we find valuable. That brings us back to today. Our world is much smaller than it was before. We are entering a world where communication across the globe is only a click, beep, or plane ride away. In this new era, you'll encounter many people's stories. Class of 2007, as we are here at graduation, about to enter this new world, we again must be ready to listen, like we did in kindergarten, to the countless stories we will hear. Everyone around the world has their own story to tell, with many chapters, versions, and revisions as well. As always, we may not always agree with what we hear, and in fact encounter ideas which we completely disagree with. However, keep in mind one thing. Learn to understand why we hold such ideas, why we tell such tales, why these ideas drive us to do certain things. Remember though, we too have our own stories to tell. We can share our experiences, our perspectives, our morals. We learn from our parents, teachers, and friends from the tales they told. By taking the values that we learn from other people and making them part of our own, we can continue our own story. Albert Einstein once said, "Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding." Through understanding another person's ideas, like understanding the morals of a faith, we can perhaps learn to build peace. Even though we may not be alive to see a world of perfect peace, we still pass down our stories and continue to contribute to the next generation, like how our teachers, parents, and community have done for us. By passing on our stories, adding to our own, and most importantly, listening to others, it is one more step to achieving peace and happiness. Perhaps one day we may live in a world that ends happily ever after, like the stories we heard in kindergarten during story time.